So our group's a brown group, and the first pitch is called Life, Death and Data. And it's firmly placed within the digital humanities. We want to look at the humanistic dimensions of digital dying. The digital production, and the background to this is that the digital production and consumption of death has increased exponentially over the last 10 years. And there's a whole generation that has a huge digital footprint about when they die and how they want their data to be managed after they die. So obviously there are huge implications for data analysis and data mining, and the most recent being the right to be forgotten debate. And so there are all kinds of new networks and new methods and resources that have formed around this topic. For the life, death, and data theme, we want to look at the preservation, the legacy, the storage, and implications for digital memory in terms of digital dying. Obviously, this is the transition from physical life to physical death, and now we're witnessing the phenomenon of the digital, physical to digital death. We're looking at obviously a multidisciplinary study that would combine historical studies from the medieval period, even religious studies, computing, and philosophy. Thank you.
So that's death. So the second elevator pitch was ethical algorithms, it's called. So whereby, in kind of the first pitch, the emphasis was on data. So there's been lots of talk, discussion about data, big data, which is kind of interesting because data by itself is not really terribly useful. It's only really when you can sort of process that data, transform it, visualize it, that data really becomes useful. And so the emphasis here then is on those algorithms, those processes which we use to process, to transform, to process our data. And some of the kind of things we were talking about were things like ethical standards or reviews and policies for algorithms, for example. There's lots of talk recently about coding, so teaching school children to code. Should there be something called ethical coding? Should we be, training Facebook programmers, giving them ethics classes, telling them, be careful what you do with our data? Because the algorithms and the processes we use, especially with the kind of size of data that lots of us are dealing with now, are really how we kind of interpret the data that we have. So coming up with potential standards, ethical standards for coding, policies for algorithms and code.